Thanks for joining me again for another Pixie Talks review vlog.
Pixie Talks, reviews and vlogs at Pixie Talks. Pixie Talks, reviews and vlogs at Pixie Talks.
Woo! It's finally here! I have been waiting since 2013. 2013 for this film. Because 2013 is the last time that we saw my favorite Marvel character on screen, Loki. And it therefore seems appropriate that this beautiful barley wine from Central City Brewing was also put down in 2013. You may recall that in my review of The Hobbit, Battle of Five Armies, I also reviewed some beers from Central City Brewing. So I've been aging this bad boy since 2013 so that I can do it again. And I'm excited to do so with Thor's hammer for the review of Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, come on.
Oh dear. Oh my gosh, it smells like figs and berries and Christmas cake. Look at the color on that. It's a lot darker than I expected. Woo. So I love the Thor films. I know they aren't particularly good. They're certainly not some of Marvel's best works, and Thor: The Dark World was particularly forgettable. But I love the mythos, I love the characters and the setting, and of course, I love Loki. He is hands down my favorite Marvel character, villainous or otherwise, and I am always so blown away by what Tom Hiddleston brings to the role. So I have been eagerly anticipating Ragnarok, if only to get another glimpse at Asgard and its resident troublemaker. Oh my gosh. So this is like, oh wow. It's layered. This is like kind of like liquid caramel. It's got like that really nice malty sweetness to it, but then it's also got like a really fruity profile. Wow. Again, this has been aging in my closet downstairs since 2013, so it's a really nice vintage. Little background on barley wines. It's 11.5%. and it's been aged in bourbon barrels, so you really get a lot of that really nice bourbon flavor profile from it. Oh, the vanilla from the barrel really comes through. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Now, Ragnarok has been getting rave reviews, and it is not hard to see why. It's snappy, it's hilarious, and it's just a whole lot of adventurous fun. It takes place after the events of Dark World, featuring Thor and his adventures. They lead him back to Asgard, where he discovers, as we all know from the ending of Dark World, that his brother Loki has taken over. Thor has to deal with that, but also immediately a bigger problem presents itself. The return of the goddess of death, Hela. Thor and Loki have to work together to defeat their sister, and team up with both familiar and new faces along the way. I'm gonna get some of my gripes out from this film out of the way first, right up front here. Dark World, of course, ended off with Loki taking over the throne of Asgard, which is a really interesting jumping off point for this story. However, it really amounted to absolutely nothing and was resolved fairly quickly in the very beginning of the film. It would have been a lot more interesting to go from there into a whole story about Loki as the bad guy and Thor having to discover the deception and then wrest control back from his brother. Rescuing his father, like that could have been a whole film in and of itself. Instead, it's just this tiny blip at the start of this film, and honestly, the film would have been stronger without it having been there at all. Unfortunately, they had to include it, otherwise they wouldn't have been able to get past that into the story that they wanted to tell with Hela. You guys, this is absolutely delicious. Wow. The texture is really smooth and silky. It's not rough at all, especially considering its high percentage. It doesn't taste like it, which could make it a little dangerous, but it's really tasty. Anyways, that is pretty much my biggest problem with this film, is that Loki is just not really treated like a serious character. He's not a villain anymore, but he's also not accepted as a hero. He's just kind of there, flitting about on the sidelines of the story and generally being the butt of jokes. Now, the tone of this film is more comedic, so everybody is the butt of jokes. But I never really felt like Loki was necessary to the plot at all, or even being portrayed as particularly competent. The writers kind of treated him like he was a nuisance they would rather have not have had in the story at all, but had to deal with because he was there. And considering that I mostly wanted to see this for Loki, that is a little bit frustrating. That said, for his part, he was pretty awesome in the film. Tom Hiddleston always portrays Loki with such a great sense of charisma and self-obsession that really came through in his performance here, despite the lack of respect the writers afforded him. Loki just oozes personality, and I will say that he is the best part of the Thor movies. His manipulative and unpredictable nature makes him a joy to watch, being that you never quite know what's going on with him, and I love that. Now, the film is, as people are saying, uproariously funny. Oh, man, that barrel treatment, though. It's like Christmas in a glass. If you recall those silly Thor sketches that they released about right after Civil War about what Thor's been up to while the rest of them were fighting.
I just started my own team. Team Thor, of course.
This is pretty much a whole movie of that. It doesn't take itself seriously. It almost feels like a parody of itself. It's just really fun, and the delivery is excellent. Chris Hemsworth is a ridiculously funny guy, and it's really nice to see him getting to tear up a comedy like this. Now, that can be a drawback when it comes to any of the scenes that should have some emotional weight to them. There is a lot of potential ground covered with Thor and Loki's relationship, as well as moral implications about Odin's past. And it would have been nice to actually explore how the two brothers are processing all of that. What is Thor feeling as he learns that Odin wasn't necessarily as benevolent as he appeared to be? Was Odin just a liar this whole time, or did he honestly have a legit change of heart at some point? We don't know, and the fast pace of the comedy doesn't really let us dwell on it all that much, which is kind of a shame. However, as I have said before, the film is outrageously fun, which is a nice change of pace from some of Marvel's other films. Civil War. There's a certain need for this kind of levity and goofiness, and I really appreciate that. Also, the whole film just looks super great. They really outdid themselves with use of color, scenery, and character design. It's a visually appealing film with a really great tone and a fun personality. Hela was amazing, of course. Cate Blanchett absolutely delivered on what would happen if Galadriel had accepted the One Ring.
Dark but beautiful and terrible as the Lord, all sound and bad.
And of course, Valkyrie and Hulk were both phenomenal additions to the ensemble cast. I am a little bit worried about Bruce, though, with how things left it at the end of this film, and I really hope that we get to see Hulk again soon. Altogether, I really enjoyed this film, even if I do have some complaints with it. It's a super fun addition to the MCU and well worth seeing. But please, writers, please let Loki actually be cool again the next time we see him. I'm begging you. This barley wine if you can find any of it, is also absolutely freaking delicious. Tastes like caramel and fruitcake and vanilla. It's phenomenal, guys. Aged since 2013, it is absolutely delicious. That's Central City Brewing. You should check them out.
Oh, come on.
And that's my review of Thor Ragnarok, as well as the Barlywine Thor's Hammer from Central City Brewing. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do be sure to subscribe for more. And of course, you can also add me on Facebook. And with that, I'll see you next time. Cheers!